Hello, welcome to another BBA podcast. Today we have two-time BBA champion, two-time MVP Huzefa Hussein. We have one-time BBA champion, finals loser to me. And I don't know if you've won an MVP before, right, Mustan?
Yeah, the year we were losers
Oh
too.
yeah, that way, yeah. And then we also
Qusai,
have
Qusai was my partner in crime as a fellow loser.
And then we're also welcoming back Qusai Kolawala. Um, and he is how many champions? Two championships, five finals losses, and then kind of the also main runner of everything. So, welcome.
Seven final appearances, the most in BBA. Okay, I'll go with
That
that.
is impressive.
So first we want to highlight and thank Kusai and Q Recycling Construction and Services for his sponsorship over many years for our BBA. So I wanted to ask, why do you sponsor BBA and what does BBA mean to you?
So QRCS, myself and Sheikh Murtaza Badri, who's my business partner, um, we both strongly feel in empowering our community and helping them achieve greatness through sports, through Riyazat. And we do our best to try to sponsor whatever we can when it comes to sports related. Um, BBA is something obviously that is more near and dear to myself. So it's something that I initiated, but we sponsor all levels of Muminin sports from tough to MFL to soccer to cricket to women's throw ball to even other events that Muminin are taking to uplift themselves or uplift the community. And I think BBA is a prime example of uplifting individuals and uplifting our community. BBA has been basically a gathering of brothers. It strengthened people's bonds in each other. It's given people a chance to meet new people, and you know forge friendships through sports and forge relations through sports, which is something unique and special.
Yes, and probably forge one of the greatest rivalries in BBA history, which is Huztler versus Mustan. Um, Anyway, so both of you guys are coming off losing this year. Are you guys mad? What's the vibes like, and how are you preparing for next year? What's your post BBA workouts like?
You first.
You want me to go first, Mustan?
You're the expert of fitness, my man.
Where
Um,
did you guys end up this year? How far did y'all make it?
I think we lost in the quarters, I want to say. We definitely, yeah, we
And
lost in the quarters.
and Mustan?
Um, w-
Same.
Yeah, we lost it.
yeah, we lost in the quarters by like 3 points, but it was, yeah. I mean, so I mean, no, I'm definitely not mad about it. It's every year. I'm thankful for every year, and I'm blessed to be still playing. After all of these years. I started BBA. I play in around 28, 29. So like at almost turning 41 next month. It's been, heck of a run. And every year I play, I come home healthy. I just say, Kudana sugar and, but I'm always, man, I play every week. I play at least once a week, no matter what, sometimes even twice a week. Now I do it to kind of encourage my kids. My son plays basketball now, so I almost do it where I want to kind of lead by example for him. I'm showing him that, I'm still out there, I'm playing and I'm pushing him. So we're kind of doing it together. Um, but I mean, and the brotherhood is what I really enjoy now. I kind of, I am not trying to chase rings as much as understanding that the brotherhood matters to me a lot. Coaching these young kids, the young captains now, means a lot to me. Kind of passing the baton to the youngins and coaching them through and seeing them rise makes me happy. But again, if I'm sure I know I'll win and one again, maybe more, inshallah. But that time will come. But until then, I'm just enjoying the process.
So are you saying, Josefa, you're no longer going to be a captain? Have you've retired from captaincy?
No, I mean, I would love to be a captain too, but I also really like that we are encouraging the younger generation to kind of take the baton, even if they're a bit early. If they can't really, we don't, even if they can't really, if as a committee, as the main guys of BBA don't feel like they can kind of step in yet, but if they have somebody like me or Mustan or Tuza or the older guys that can kind of coach them through and kind of be that helping hand, I why not? That way, the next generation will have great caps, right? But I would still be willing to be a captain 100%. But depending on what the committee decides, I think both approaches are great. Having the under 30 cap or just making the 10, 12 best players be caps. We can maybe switch back and forth, but I'd be happy to be a cap as well.
Tyre, make note of that when it comes to deciding on which way we go for captaincy this year.
Sounds
Good.
good.
I
I guess I'll let Mustan respond to the question and see what his thoughts are.
So Huztler's a very diplomatic guy. Hell yeah, I'm pissed off. We didn't come back with the chip. Um, goes without saying the brotherhood and passing the knowledge. I think that's the bigger than that's the beauty of BBA being bigger than any individual. But I feel like the light at the end of the tunnel is pretty close now. So I don't think I see myself continuing in the same role. I want to be a complete super team riding ring chaser to end my career. Plant me in the corner and let me jack up threes. Um, but I think we gave it our all as a team. I think I gave it my all as an individual. There was going back and looking through film. There's a lot of coulda, woulda, shouldas, but that's at the end of the day, we laid it out on the line. Um, at first, I thought a couple of years ago when these younger guys were starting to talk a little, I said, no, the baton, you got to come and get it, right? There's no passing of the torch until we decide. But it feels like the last 2 years, especially, it's being kind of forced out of our hand. We're blessed enough, Josefa and I are blessed enough to be able to hang with these younger guys. So I still don't feel fully ready to let it go, but the data speaks for itself. All young players in the top four,
yeah.
the top performers are young players, and we're talking a big gap. There's like, I don't know what's happening with the 20 and 30-year-olds, but these teenagers are up and coming and they're beasts, right?
Hmm.
Proud to see these guys playing organized sports, really taking care of their health, listening to the elders early, and taking instead of them trying to come at us, they're more like absorbing what we're telling them and then just being better than us. The second part of your question, as far as what am I doing for next year, you know, I think the biggest lesson for me was just making lifestyle changes, right? This is not about just BBA prep anymore. So my post
Hmm.
and my pre should start looking the same. So will I be ready to play next year? Absolutely. But like I said, I don't plan on taking that role. If it's in Houston, I'm going to be there. If there's a 35 plus, I'm going to be there. Once my son is ready to join BBA, I'll be there. But outside of those three situations, I think I need to take a year or two off. Um, but I can write a book on like what it's been fitness wise from just experience, learning, injury, disappointment. If you look at early on in my BBA career, I suffered from things like cramps. Now that's a thing of the past. 2 years ago, I think I ended my first day pretty strong, but then the second day I ruptured my Achilles. There was lessons learned in that. So, understanding the body, getting as much knowledge as possible on the subject of fitness, being curious. I've talked to Josefa in the past. I used to have lower back pain. So I've been through it all, and alhamdulillah, I can say I'm arguably the best shape of my adult life. So I can go on and talk about more than the rest of this podcast and talk about what we're doing. But the long story short of it is it starts with mindset. Then it goes, then you have to learn as much as possible, make a plan, and then execute on that plan and make lifestyle changes. It's not just about, I'm going to have a great diet for the next 30 days, right? These are like, I mean, Josefa shows up, and the only time I would say he's not looked as chiseled as, from God's marble was, I think, shortly after having a kid, which we all, we got to focus on being dads. But even then, his version of a dad bod is like in the top 1% of players. So, in general, these are not just like BBA prep. This is lifestyle changes. I mean,
Yeah,
Qusai, like, we talked about a little bit before the call, has been really working on CrossFit and stuff. So he'll be BBA ready, but he's also life ready.
100%. Yeah,
Um,
like
so
I think Muslim was saying, it's all about lifestyle changes for the long run. So being, that way you can not just be a great BBA player, but be a great dad, a great husband, a great brother, a great member of the community, right? Like health is wealth. So um, if anything, I would tell the youngins, or anybody, is just kind of concentrate on your health, work out, watch your diet, and lead by example.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of folks like just focus on even aesthetics, like heavy weightlifting and what looks good in
Hmm.
the mirror. But really, the biggest change in approach this year, and Dyer's on my team, so he saw some layers under the cover, which is functional training. I focused a lot more on functional training,
Hmm.
also following the right influencers, having the right trainers. So how to be
Yeah.
more explosive, how to reverse the clock on that, single footwork, balance work, stability work. And then, the nutrition, it wasn't so different from the years past. Maybe a little bit more focus on getting the quantity of protein I need, the quality of protein. But there was a lot more functional movement than just what looks good and what feels good at the time. And then I also increased my load leading up to the tournament. So 2 intense full days of basketball a few times in the weeks leading up to the tournament. And then having a
Hmm.
baseline, right? Just always moving. I'm always on the move. I walk to go pick up the kids. If I have a call, I'm walking on the treadmill. I do push-ups after every namaz, things like that. Just having a minimum baseline. And then on
Yeah.
top of that, if you can take a class, take a class. You have the trainer, do the trainer. So, shoulders day, back day, whatever, do all that, but have a minimum baseline no matter what.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Those are all wise tips for not only the BBA players but any of the viewers to adhere to.
And so I do coming back to the youngins, the top scorers for this year. We got a 16-year-old, a 17-year-old, an 18-year-old, a 41-year-old, which is on this call, a 21-year-old, a 16-year-old, a 22-year-old, a 40-year-old who's on this call, and then a 23-year-old. Um, so I definitely listen to these two guys right here.
Where are all the
Hey,
30-year-olds?
But what we're here to talk about to how to sustain success over multiple years as you age. Um, and so I have your guys' stats from the past, what, since 2015. So how do you guys think you've done over the years? Which is were your worst years, which were your better years, and how do you guys compare head to head? Um, so first
Before
question.
before we before we talk about data, I want to address the head-to-head. I was really disappointed that me and Josefa didn't get to play against each other this past year because I feel like I have Tahir Hamid's number and he was his teammate, and I still owe Huztler a get back from last year. He got me twice. I gave Baby Koch a run for his money, so I got my get back there, but I didn't get to play Huztler this year. So if he's up by two in our record, well, I would have hoped to even the score this year.
I mean, bringing that up, I mean, both of you were in kind of ideal situations, teammate wise. I mean, I think Josefa had been wanting to play with Tahir Hamid for many years, and he's always done well when he's had a guard with him. And then Mustan, you also had uh, a very dominant big man in Daoud Bai, and not only Daoud Bai, you also had Baiji, and so it was surprising that you guys, uh, bowed out a little bit earlier than expected. But yeah.
Like shade left and right. So I'm just calling we've been losers and early buyouts. So yeah, repeat the question, Tyler. I'll let Huztler take it on first.
Um, okay, so is
Talked about
there
stats, right? Something about
yeah.
stats.
So which is the year that you've scored the most highest points? Huzefa.
I think it was probably since we've started keeping stats, I think probably my 2018 season. I mean, my first few seasons, I know we don't really we kept stats on paper, but I'm sure those were my best years. But I think 2018 was probably one of my better years.
That's
I
exactly
think
right. You scored
that was like the 100. I had like
yeah,
100 plus
108
boards. 100.
points in 2018.
Yeah.
So you have 2015 90, 2016 98, 2017 90, 2018 108, 19 is 75, then 73 and 21, then back up to 94, then 80, um, then 65, and then this year's 75.
I mean, still, if you look at it, he's consistently been, if not the top 10 or top 5 in scoring every year, which is, a testament to what he does before he comes to BBA and also how he plays in BBA, and those years that I would say, if I'm recalling correctly, the years his numbers have dipped a little. He's had a very ball dominant scoring guard. I think
Yeah.
if last year if he had 65, that means Hamza or Hussein Baby Kanch
Was the leading
wa-
scorer.
had a lot more than him,
Yeah.
So like Huzefa has been an ultimate, I would say, team player and just getting the best out of his team. Same, I haven't had the pleasure of playing with Huzefa. I have had the pleasure of playing with Mustan 2 years, and I would say the same thing about Mustan, that playing with someone of their caliber as a role player, you are previewed and you get the best looks. You're able to, enhance your game and get the best out of your game because of them, because of the way they play.
Mhm.
So it's a hats off to both of them and how they're able to make all of their teams overall better.
Yeah. Mustan, what's been your worst year where you scored the least amount of points?
The worst year was probably when I got hurt. So I had 2 years
Uh,
where I got hurt, and I bowed early. So I had very good first days or very good games. But like I think the year of my Achilles, it's funny because people don't know that. But on Saturday, I actually had a fracture in my left hand. So I was on
mhm.
ice. So I think my first game against Hazifa, I think I scored zero. My hand was literally like frozen. But then the 3-point contest happened and I warmed up. And then I ended up like I think with the highest that day or something. It was crazy. Um, and then the next day we were up in the playoff game and then pop. So that might be my worst year, but the asterisk being I didn't play the second day. And then
Which year was that?
28, that was 2022. And then 2018, I had a severe sprain. I landed on Seyfuddin Vora's foot
Mhm.
and we started heating up then too. I don't remember what I ended up with. So those 2 years, I didn't play the second day. Otherwise, I would say I take pride in being consistent. Um, I would say consistent from a holistic, like total standpoint, but I've had very up and down games. I've had some years where I've had like a crazy game and then like a nothing game. This past year, I was pretty satisfied. I think I was pretty consistent across the board. I didn't have any explosions, but I played my best overall as far as consistent. Enough about me. I think what Qusai said is important, right? Like who you have around you really matters.
Yeah.
The year I had Amr Puna, he was the leading scorer. The year I had Abbas and Ramak, they were the leading scorers. The year I had Kadi and Qusai, Kadi was the leading scorer. So I don't. It's great I got my points, but I really love the fact that my teammates had explosive years. Maybe their best year playing alongside me. I'd love to see how Abu did this year versus years past.
That you mentioned that year with you, Abbas, and Ramak, I think all of you were above 90 in scoring. That was a crazy offensive team.
We
Um,
beat them.
yeah, well, we beat everyone. We didn't lose that year, Tyre.
We gave
Uh,
you a run for the money, but yeah, Tyre Baiji being an eighth pick or seventh pick was anyway.
well, that was the year. That was the year we tried free agency. So that was the
Don't put an
caveat that kind of
asterisk on my championship.
could skewed people's teams, I would say.
It's all good, man.
Um, so speaking on co-players, so as you age and you're looking at, taking a back seat or being a role player and having, like a Conch or an Abu, how does one fit into what the team needs? I'll let
I
Zifa go first.
yeah.
I mean, in terms of like, I just like, you guys all know, like, I love playing with a solid point guard, solid, like, I just surround myself with a bunch of guards, right? Like, if I have two solid guards, I know we're going to have a lot of success because it just opens it up for everybody. I want my guards to be like, heavy scorers too, right? I don't generally want to be the leading scorer on the team. If the more my guards score, the further we're going to go. Because when it's time to step up, when it's clutch time, I know I can take over. But just surrounding yourselves with like unselfish players is who I look for or want to surround myself with. Um, and I feel like the BBA now is so guard heavy, which is great. Like these newcomers are just they're launching threes like Steph Curry, right? Like they're but Zakir and Zohair and Hussein Kach, and they're all like shooting 3 feet beyond the arc, right? Like Mustan was the only one possibly doing that back in the day or even now, but it's a guards league and it's amazing to see these young guards. So, I'd love to play with a lot of these young guards, inshallah, down the road. But that's who I would kind of surround myself with if I'm building a team for myself. Go ahead, Mustan.
Um,
Yeah.
so I think Huztler blew his chance last year trading for the number one pick. No disrespect to Koch, but that was, I think, maybe on paper the only chance we could have had to play together. So
That is true. Yeah.
I didn't know I was in North Pakistan. I just woke up the next morning to the draft and I was like, Huztler traded. I had fun with Yamani. I've always wanted to play with a point guard like him, so there's no regret there. I would say there's two types of players I'd like to play with. One would have been like a Huztler, the ideal pick and roll guy, because I know he can pop, but I know if I just dump it to him down low, I'll find him in a spot where he has an easy layup. He's going to catch a tough pass, or he'll suck in the defense, and I've got a floater, and if I miss, he's a cleanup guy. So I think that would have been an ideal complementary player. Another one would be a facilitator. So a facilitator that can just also take over. So for me, Adnan Fatak comes to mind. Amelam come to
Yeah.
mind. Right? Malam and Adnan Fatak, I think, are both guys that I have complete trust in as far as facilitating, but also if I kick it to them, I know they can finish. Obviously, I have the luxury of playing with Tuza, Abbas, Zakir, and stuff like that. So those two guys are coming to mind as an outlier to those guys that I get to play with regularly.
Qusai, any thoughts?
I mean, I I'm not the same caliber player as Mustansir and Uzefa. I've always been a complementary player, a role player, um, and but it's as I said before, I've had the privilege of playing with Mustan, and as I said, when you have people play with people of their talent, it just makes the stuff that you have to do a lot easier. If you ex you buy into the philosophy of the team, what the team wants to do, and when you're out there, you listen, and I think that's the biggest thing that I've learned throughout PBA is that, you know, listen to your teammates, learn from them, and put your best foot out there, good things will happen. You know, you're not always gonna get the ball to to shoot, or you're not always gonna get that glory. But sometimes, like I obviously feel like just my presence sometimes my people think that I can make a three. Being in that corner opens up a lane for a Mustan, or being in that corner would stop a double team from going down onto Hustler, So sometimes that's my role, is just to occupy a defender to make it easier for these guys to do their magic. And sometimes, yeah, we play with a bunch of kids and they see an old guy standing in a corner like, what's he gonna do? And they still, veer away, and people like Mustan and Huzefa and, as you said, other facilitators like Mehelam and Adnan and these people, they find you open in the corner, and
Yeah.
well, all you got to do is drain an open three. That's shooting practice at the gym sometimes, So, you know, it works both ways. So yeah.
I think those are wise words and important lessons for younger folks. Is being a decoy is equally important because your impact is felt, right? Like in a 2-3 zone or 3-2 zone, spacing is key. So just being a threat allows your facilitators to facilitate. But if you're stagnant or worried about why didn't I get a shot and you're not being a threat, then you're actually letting the team down. So it's not, you have to look at it at a macro level versus just your own, isolated, how many points did I put up?
Hmm.
Right.
And
Okay,
I
so
like to shoot the ball. I like when I get past, and I do like to score, get points, and that's human nature. And because at the end of the day, next year when people are looking at stats, they're going to look at, well, how many points did he score? How many three? And if you don't have those numbers, then there's a chance you drop to the G League.
Hey man, I have a vivid memory from 2015. So the boss was actually guarding me. It was when I was with Puna, and he's like, "I'm gonna not let Mustan score." And all I did was run in circles. He was gassed, right? So the rest of the team did their job, and I knew my role was to just be a decoy. And when he was finally catching his breath, I got some open shots. But the point was, just keep their best defender occupied, and sometimes, again, your impact is intangible.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a reason why Qusai has also been to seven finals, right? Like it's not he understands the game really well. His voice, he expresses his voice and his leadership really well. Um and he knows how to use his shooting. But I mean, Qusai, I've played against him right every year because we haven't had a chance to be on the same team. But your defense is like you really do occupy that space in the middle when you play the zone. So you can do it all. And these are the guys that you kind of need on a championship team. It's usually your top 1, 2 guys are going to do what they're going to do, but can your 3, 4, 5 guys really step up? That's the biggest difference I'd see in most championship teams, right? And going all the way to their bench. When you have guys coming in and out constantly, and you can trust every teammate, that makes a huge difference. And having a bench, because by day two, your legs are shot, you're exhausted, you're no matter how great shape you're in, you're still going to be a notch slower. So having that deep bench is key. and having guys who can kind of be a decoy like Qusai is I would love to play with Qusai one day, inshallah.
Inshallah.
With all that CrossFit, there's me taking up less space in the paint.
Okay, so last question. Make your case for why your family is the best BBA family. I'll let Muslim start.
I don't need to make a case. We bring the fans. We have 3 generations of hoopers and counting. Enough said. The accolades to back it up.
I totally agree. I mean, there's no Muslim rolls deep. I mean, he has a huge family, and they come everywhere. Wherever BBA is, they're there. My wife and kids just starting to come to BBA again. My kids were much younger, so it was a tough weekend for my wife because I'm so occupied. I'm not present as a dad, so when my kids were younger, I would just come solo and make it a guys' weekend as well. But now, they're traveling with me again too. And now that I live in, the Metro Detroit area, the Chicago drive is only 4 hours away, which is great. Toronto was only 4 hours away, which was great last year. So, but no, definitely Mustan and that whole Zakir Patwa family, that whole big family, they just roll deep, man.
I mean, the Zakir Patwa Abbas, the Patwa Abbas Hussein family,
Yeah.
uh, it's probably one of the,
But
uh,
you and your brother probably have more finals appearance than they do.
I don't
so
know, because if you count Zakir's at what, 3? Are
Zakir's
we?
been Zakir's been to 3 and he's won once.
I've
And
been to 2 and Abbas has been to 2. So what's the cumulative there? I don't know. Abbas has been your Abbas has been to a few as well.
you guys just add up to me.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
he's
But
In victories
I
as
mean,
well, right?
in victories as
you all
well.
have, yeah,
They have
you
3.
have you
What
guys
One
have.
people
each.
don't know is my wife also plays basketball, and she's the lone women's MVP and champion. So the BSC had a tournament a couple years ago. So we have, I mean, my daughter's going to start playing next year, but we're like generational basketball right now. It's crazy, and I don't know where the genes came from because we come from a family of like cricket players.
Definitely the talent
And we're
and
counting kids in this as well, so we're cumulatively gonna
yeah,
count.
the talent and the family support of the Abbas, Hussein, and Patwa genealogy. I mean, you can't. Firoz is an amazing athlete as well,
No doubt.
Um, so you give them a lot. I mean, I think another BBA family that's up and coming is the Heather and Ali Bora family. They travel well as well. They show up to support, and both Heather and Ali. I don't think Heather's ever won, but Ali has a championship. Um, with I've had a championship with Ali, I think in the early years. And he's been consistent, and but right now, hands down, yeah, the Zakir, Mustan, and Abbas gene pool, um, they're killing it at basketball. But if you go down to just rings in BBA, well, the Kalawala's, we're myself and my Janab Mullah Basbai Kalawala, uh, we're beating you guys.
And Qusay, don't forget Seifi Vora though, the
Oh yeah.
cousins.
Oh yeah. Sorry. Yeah,
I was
I
gonna
gotta
say,
count. I
don't
gotta
forget my
count
guy Seifi.
Safety's been to a bunch of championships as well, and he's got a lot of
I
hard
think he's
wear as
got three
well.
rings. I don't know how many finals, but total, but maybe he might be 3 for 3. But I know he has 3 rings.
Yeah, he is actually 3 for 3. So
Yeah.
I
that
want to
definitely.
I want to make one shameless plug here. I think it's cool to see. Like, I mean, obviously years in the game matter, but like if you look at I'm still kind of blown away by the statistic. I know there's an element of luck and there's an element of skill and there's an element of who you play against and who your team is and health, but Zakir's like record just boggles my mind. I think like the last 2 years, like 15-1. And then like it's just crazy on paper how incredible what he's done. Like 3 finals in 4 years, one championship, one MVP. I think he's been a top scorer every year. It's just kind of like it's crazy because like some of us have busted our ass.
And he's not even 20.
He's not even 20. He's a freshman in college.
He's a freshman in college. So yeah, hats off to
Nazar
Zakir.
Nagagi Jai, but I'm
No,
just when I saw the numbers, I was blown
Amantabila.
away.
Yeah, and that's what I told him when the finals started. I was like, dude, you know, you're only 19. I don't know how many more I have in how many more final appearances I have, Let me let me get a W here, but uh they had other plans, and I'm happy that Kansab was able to get his first
Yeah.
this year
There's
playing
been a
with
lot of
Zakir
talk
and
about like
Zohair.
cross functional, cross sports and stuff. And it's crazy because people don't know this about Zakir, but this year he's also won the tennis tournament in Dallas. He's also won the pickleball tournament in Austin. Him and his dad and the ping pong tournament, like those guys are sweeping all the local tournaments. So it's insane that people don't realize off the court what else is going on, the accolades. It's pretty
And
incredible.
Zakir played MFL this year too, right?
He played MFL, yeah, he was with Barmo.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, hats off to the youth
Yeah.
of going out and playing all these different sports and being functional and being great in all of them. Like Mehelam, I mean, this year on my team we had a Danish. I mean, he's not known to be a basketball player. He's a soccer player who's won multiple soccer tournaments. He's won multiple ultimate frisbee tough tournaments, and that kid was a dog on the court. He played his heart out the whole weekend, and
Isn't he like a Division One collegiate player?
I think he
he
plays D1 soccer, right?
he plays he plays I think club soccer for Rutgers. So it's
Oh,
like
okay.
they still travel, and I mean, it's still a big achievement. But yeah,
I know we have multiple collegiate athletes, and I know like this Gariali kid and so forth, but I'd still love to make a wager like what Huztler and Huzzy and myself and some of these other guys in our teen years would have done against some of these studs this year.
I mean, I don't
I
know,
think you
like,
would have been destroyed. You would have been killed.
I
because
don't know, man.
I don't think we appreciated our talent level, and we didn't. I can't speak for Hustler. I think he's been in perfect health and Amantabila and kept himself in great shape from day one. Maybe the day he came out of his mom's womb, he was like doing sit-ups or something. But like people like you Mustan, and our eating habits and our
That's
workout
true.
habits
Way too much
when
Wendy's back in the day.
we were teens was not ideal, while you have kids these days that are counting calories and how much protein they're taking, and all this
Bro,
stuff.
we
So
played tackle football. These guys are soft. Let's go.
but yeah.
I know how many
Um,
collarbones you've broken of other people's Qusai.
Hey, you come across the middle, you're supposed to be laid out.
Wrong sport. Anyway, any final thoughts?
I
Well,
don't know, man. I think people made fun of me 10 years ago about how serious I took BBA. And I'm just proud of seeing how it's grown, how fanatical people have become about it. I still have teammates texting me. So I know the impact has been felt. Um, I know I can still play and I can probably try to keep up, but one of my goals was to go out on a high. And that's why for me, I love what BBA is today. I love seeing the teams, but the toll it's taken on my body, the toll it's taken on me financially, et cetera, et cetera. Like it's time to like pass the torch officially. I'm really excited to see what the next gen does. You'll still see me around in some capacity, a role player, coach, fan, whatever. But I'm proud of what BBA is. The brotherhood, I would have never even dreamed of like a Zoom call with Huztler and you, Tahir, across the coasts, right? Thanks to BBA. So I've definitely built bonds with great
Yeah.
people on and off the court. So that's my final words. Thank you to the sponsors. Thank you, Qusai. Thank you, AAA Pals. Thank you, all these race box, all these consistent people, Mad Sports. The list goes on and on. Jamali Garden. Thank you all for being there behind the scenes and on the front lines. Thank you, committee. Thank you, board. Thank you, everybody. So I'm really excited to see the future of it for my children. They're so privileged. I hope they know it. But that's my final thoughts is just gratefulness and shukr.
I think Mustan said it very well.
He did.
Just shukr that we have this opportunity to play, and shukr that, and just do dua that we continue to, and if not us, the future generations of Mu'mineen basketball players have this opportunity to showcase their talent through BBA.
And I think like Musa said it obviously very well, but I hope we continue this brotherhood by even expanding to maybe like a consistent like 35 plus or a 40 plus tournament, because I would hate to like see Muslim not playing in a tournament, right? Like every tournament I've played and Muslim has been there. And as we get older, I think that continued push to staying healthy and competing. We're always going to want to compete against each other. We're brothers off the court, but on the court we love to compete, and get to see each other at least once a year. But I hope we kind of can expand BBA to have a consistent 35 or 40 plus tournament, not just a G League, but like our the guy like the original BBA guys that who started all of this can constantly keep playing every year as we get older. Um, but I'm just like so glad to see how far BBA has come. It's in great hands with the youngins. The committee does a great job. We probably need, the committee probably needs a few youngins to kind of step up and take the baton from them as well, because I don't know how long Qusai and Hatem and Bhaiji and everybody else behind the scenes that I may have missed, that puts in all that effort and time. They already have the system in place, but it'd be great to see some of the youngsters in their teen or 20s kind of step up and kind of take that baton. So that way, a lot of us older guys can kind of maybe concentrate on like a 35 plus or a 40 plus league that can become more of a, not just like, hey, we're just throwing together a tournament, but like a consistent tournament that we can constantly play in. And eventually even maybe expand to like 18 or under tournament, or like 14 or under or 15, so that way our kids who are now like 9, 10, 12 can possibly play in a tournament too, and kind of see that development going on from a young age to adulthood, right? I would love to see something like that, but I just love that Boris plays so many sports now. I mean, I'm going to inshallah keep playing basketball, but pickleball is my new thing too now. So I'm going to keep it going. That way I can kind of show up to all these tournaments and hang out with everybody and get to see all you guys.
I agree.
But yeah,
I want to squash the debate here because it's been talked about it a few times, but the way BBA started, I know about a core group of Chicago guys like to believe it was them, but 2011, there was a tournament in Houston, a Milad tournament, put together by Murtaza Ali and myself. Tuza was there, Shabir Hussein were there, a few key guys, and we did a draft on the spot, on the court. We had a tournament. Tahir Hamid was chubby little 12-year-old kid at the time. And it came down to a finals of me versus Tuza. Tahir Hamid and Murtaza Ali were my teammates, and we beat them. So I'm the very first trophy from that tournament. It's sitting in Murtaza's house. And then I was quarterback, and Tuza was a wide receiver, and we won the football tournament. So that playbook, that rule book was actually what was used. Tuza took it to Chicago to create the first template for BBA. So for those that don't know the history, that's where it started. But I will not take any credit away from the actual committee for turning it into what it is today, because they ran with it, right? Indians found haldi, but Americans marketed turmeric the best. So
All right. Well, thank you for joining the pod. I guess we'll end there. And then I'll get a bunch of Chicago guys to debate that next time.
Hey, make
Um,
sure Tuza's on that so he can validate that. He has a short-term memory, so I'll put that out there just in case.
yeah, we'll see. All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks
Thank
for
you,
Thank
hosting
you,
us.
guys.
man. Thank you for having us. Yeah, great talking to you.